So today, our third creation teaching is titled A Sacred Covenant. And from Genesis, chapter 9. As for me, I am establishing my covenant with you and your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, domestic animals, and every animal of the earth with you. I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth, between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. So we are not alone, and our sacred covenant, symbolized by the ark and the rainbow, is our sacred trust to protect all life on earth, sealed by the rainbow. But how well have we lived up to this sacred, abiding covenant? We're already in a mass extinction. Species are going extinct at a rate 100 times higher than normal, between 1 and 5 species per year. And climate change is radically changing habitat by changing rain patterns and temperatures. Species of all kinds are trying to live in a place that is unlike the climate they evolved with over millions of years. While species have evolved with changing climates in the past, these changes have been hundreds of times slower than the ones we are creating now, which will likely result in the loss of between 30 and 50% of extant species by the middle of the 21st century, according to the World Wildlife Federation. So, what can we do? The United Nations has called for 30% of protected land in every country. As of December 2023, Saskatchewan has only 9.8% of its land protected, and over 80% of Canada's prairie grasslands have been lost already, and what remains is at risk of disappearing forever. It is the most endangered ecosystem in the world. If Canada wants to achieve reconciliation, whether that's land reconciliation, financial reconciliation, cultural reconciliation, or knowledge reconciliation, and some semblance of land back, Indigenous people need to be involved. And that's a quote from Stephen Nita, Lutselke Dene First Nation. Accordingly, we call upon the Saskatchewan government to further develop the Protected Areas Network to provide habitat for wildlife and storing and sequestering carbon, while prioritizing Indigenous rights and title, and incorporation of Indigenous knowledge systems, leadership, and stewardship. So back to the covenant between me and the earth. What happens if we cut a lifeline with the earth? I think we're looking for a rainbow. Yeah, there's the covenant. Peat moss is just that, a lifeline with the earth. It stores massive amounts of carbon, far more than trees. When peat moss is harvested, carbon dioxide is released. We cannot replace the peat that we remove from a bog in a human being's lifetime. Can you find the peat moss slide? It probably can't be harvested again for 1,000 years or more. It's almost impossible to get it back to the way it was, said Linda Chalker-Scott, who's a horticultural expert. I compare it to cutting down old-growth forests. Sure, you can plant new trees, but it will take a long time. And the next slide, we have a photo of Chief Tammy Cook-Searson from Lac La Ronge Indian Band. Eleanor Hegland is a knowledge keeper and educator at Lac La Ronge Indian Band. She said the loss of muskeg caused by peat moss mining would disturb the ecological balance of the region and rob her descendants of their ability to live off the land. She said she was ripped away from her home in the bush as a child and taken to residential school. Mining in the muskeg would be a repeat of the same colonialism that took her away from her land and put her in residential school as a child, she said in a CBC interview. For us, we need this to survive. We still have lots of medicine in the muskeg that we use to keep us healthy. Saskatchewan has investigated a commercial peat moss mining partnership with Quebec-based company Lambert Peat Moss Incorporated. Lambert Peat Moss is proposing to develop peat harvesting operations south of La Ronge, Saskatchewan. This harvesting is expected to occur up to 2,600 hectares over 4 different lease areas, and the impacted area includes peat harvest areas, drainage, temporary workspaces, access roads, and more. An environmental impact assessment for the project was begun in 2019 and is still underway. As part of that process, the Crown has a duty to consult with potentially affected First Nation and Métis communities. And the Lac La Ronge Indian Band has publicly opposed the Lambert Peat Moss mining plan. And so we call on the Saskatchewan government to avoid commercial peat moss mining, particularly with the Quebec-based company Lambert Peat Moss Incorporated. And thank you for listening to today's creation teaching. This teaching was the third of 6 of these creation teachings, and in the environmental pod at Grosvenor, we'd welcome your feedback and your actions. If you would like to participate further in this initiative, there are some calendars at the back of the church with actions that you can do at home to learn more about these issues and live a more environmentally friendly lifestyle. As well, today we have letters that you can sign to be sent to MLAs Jennifer Bowes, Erica Ritchie, and the Honourable Christine Tell with questions about these environmental issues in Saskatchewan. Those letters and calendars are at the back of the church. Elizabeth Walker will have them at the end of the service. Thank you very much.